Hello everyone, my name is Morgan Young. I am a 4-H Youth Development and Family Consumer Science Extension Agent for Colorado State University Extension out of Chaffee County. Today I am going to be walking us through the chartering process as far as the paperwork goes. As we go through each of these pages, please think of this as a planning process. This is a planning process for you and your club to grow, and it's kind of a checks and balances system as well. We want to make sure that last year's chartering matches with this year's chartering, and we're planning for the next year of chartering as well. So please think of this as a planning process. This is very helpful to us as a county office and as a state office to see how your club has grown and to see how you plan to grow in the next 4-H year. So the page that we're going to start with today is page 2, and this is our Constitution and Bylaws page. Our first fillable cell is our 4-H club name. Please make sure that you put your full 4-H club's name. So for example, in Chaffee County, we have a club that's called Mount Shavano Rangers. We typically refer to them as the Rangers or Mount Shavano. But we want them on their chartering paperwork to put their full name of Mount Shavano Rangers. The next fillable cell is the adopted date. So when were your Constitution and bylaws last adopted? So when were they last edited or changed? This doesn't necessarily mean the day that your club was established. This means when did you add the last section of your Constitution or your bylaw? So that could be in 2018, that could be this year if you added something in there. So please make sure that it is the day that you last added a constitutional amendment or a bylaw. If you did add a constitution or a bylaw, please make sure that you highlight whatever section or whatever bylaw that you added. The next cell is your 4-H club name. Make sure that you put the full name. The cell after that is your regular meeting date. So when do you plan on having your meetings? This is very important, and I totally understand that schedules change, but when are you planning on having those meetings? This is very important to me because I will use these days and times to send a new member to your meetings to see if it is a good fit. So please make sure that you have the specifics on there. Is it the first Monday? Is it the second Monday? Is it the third Monday? Is it the last Monday? And at what time? Okay, and it doesn't have to necessarily be Mondays. This is just my example here. The next fillable parts are date accepted or amended by the local 4-H club. So what date was that? The day that you sign this as the club leader and as the club president. On page 3A, this is only for those clubs that have no money coming in or out of their club. They don't have a bank account. So their local extension agent or associate will be needing to sign this form, and this form is only for those that do not have a bank account. Page 3B, this is the page where we need your bank statement from June 30th of 2020. So we need to have that attached here because that will actually be in reference to this page right here, which is page 3, which is our financial report. In our financial report, we're going to need our full club name and our EIN number. If you do not have an EIN number, please let your local extension agent know. You probably have one at this point. And if you don't, we need to go through that application process. But you all should have an EIN number, so if you are not sure what that is, please get with your local extension agent. Your organizational leader, that's typically the club leader, and then your treasurer. Our financial institution and our account number, is it a savings or a checking? You're going to put the starting balance of whatever account that is, and if you are not sure as to what the ending balance was, please let your local extension agent know, and we can pull that paperwork from the last year's chartering information. And then you're going to put the ending balance as of June 30th. Financial institution account number, is it a checking or a savings? Same thing, we're going to go right there. If you don't have multiple accounts, or if your account doesn't have a savings or a checking and it's just a savings or it's just a checking, you can use only one of these lines, but if you have a checking or a savings, they need to be on two different lines. Or if you bank at multiple institutions and have multiple savings and checking accounts, that's when you'll fill out more of these. Then we're going to put the persons that are authorized to sign checks, deposit, and withdraw funds. Typically, there's 2 signatures that are required. That's typically going to be your treasurer and your club leader. Next, we have our financial summary. What we need is the categories that are listed here. Everything that you do within your account should fall into these categories. Activity and event fees, donations and contributions, fundraising, 4-H membership dues and fees, awards, scholarships, and investment income or interest. That would go into your income line. And then your expenses. Again, expenses should only be these things right here in this column, which is educational activities, events, supplies, membership dues and fees, fundraising expense, scholarship, awards, recognition and trophies, and bank fees. Nothing else should be coming out of your accounts. And if you've got questions about what you can spend money on, please talk to your extension agent. But all of your expenses and income should fall under these categories. I would suggest putting together an Excel sheet that you can fill out within the year, so you can just copy them right into these cells right here as to your total values. And then you're going to have your total expenses, total income, and then your total ending balance. This should match your June 30th, 2020 bank statement. Next, you're going to answer these 2 questions. Did you have one or more donation that grossed over $5,000? Yes or no? Did you have one or more fundraiser that grossed over $5,000? Yes or no? If you answered yes to either of those, you're going to put this information in these boxes. If you answered no, then you do not have to worry about these boxes right here. Next, you'll do your authorized signature 1, which is typically your leader, and authorized signature 2, which is typically your treasurer. But it's going to be your authorized signatures that are right up here. So whoever those people are, that's who's going to sign this bottom part. Page 4A, this is going to be your asset sheet. So for example, in Chaffee County, under Chaffee County Council, we have an asset that is valued over $50. We are going to put whatever assets that are monetary valued over $50 on this sheet. We have a memorial blocking chute, which is estimated at $850 that we list on this sheet. The person responsible for this asset is Kurt Jones. He is our county director, and he is the one that bought the blocking chute through county council. So he is the person responsible for that asset. Typically, the person responsible for any 4-H club's assets is the leaders. So make sure that you understand who's responsible for that asset. You will need a model number or a serial number, typically for anything that is a computer or an iPad or something like that. That's what would go into these model number and serial number areas. So for your group budget, you are going to put your club or group name, and then your start date, which is going to be July 1, if it'll let me, of 2020 to end date June 30th of 2021. Your total opening balance would be your end balance as of June 30th of 2020. So you can go back to your financial report and find that. And then you're going to put those descriptions or those categories that are listed right here for your income and your expenses into this sheet right here. You're not going to fill out the actual number, you're just going to fill out the budgeted number. Then you're going to go down here and fill out the closing balance as what your budgeted value is, not your actual, because remember, we're not filling out our actual values. Then we'll go to, we certify this budget was approved from the club members on whatever date it was. And then you'll need your president's signature, your treasurer's signature, and your club leader's signature. You'll also need the dates in which they sign that form. So on page 6, this is going to be your planning document. So your annual plan. They have a sample at the bottom of this page, and this sample kind of goes along with what is planned out as far as the state goes or holidays are concerned. This just gives you kind of a layout of the year and what you can think as to what you are going to do throughout the year. You're going to do that very same thing for your club or group. So you are going to have a business agenda, a program agenda, a recreational agenda, a community service project, the essential elements of each of these things, and any special events that could be going on. So, for example, in this sample document for October, your business agenda could possibly be electing officers, planning committees, handing out enrollment forms, talking about the upcoming year in your schedule, and announcing junior leader training for your club. Then you go to your program agenda, planning a yearly agenda, club expectations, giving instructions for a presentation that they need to give. Recreation, what are you going to do recreationally during your meeting? Are you going to sing songs? Are you going to play a team building game? Is there going to be an icebreaker? What does that look like? Then what kind of community service project are you planning for that month? So for example, in this sample one, we've got Thanksgiving placemats or pumpkin carving. And what of each of these essential elements are we going to have from these 4 items? So we might have a host greeter, and that person may change throughout the year, or it could stay the same, but we're creating a sense of belonging in that host greeter. We're also creating a sense of belonging in electing officers. The name game, that creates a sense of belonging and generosity because we're being generous when we remember somebody else's name. And it also creates a sense of belonging for somebody whose name is getting remembered. Our community service, that would be creating generosity. Mastery typically comes in when we do our demonstrations or our presentations. Independence comes along when we do project reports, or also demonstrations as well. They are doing that independently, so that would create independence. Then our special events. So we have National 4-H Week during October. Maybe you're planning something for National 4-H Week, or maybe it's something that we need to be aware of that's coming up. So we have those kinds of special events that are there. So you can use this as a guide. You can even take some of the ideas from here and put them in your plan as well. Something that I really want to point out is these essential elements are really what keeps 4-H members in your club. So try and put at least 2 to 3 of these in each month. Okay, try and create a sense of belonging or generosity or mastery or independence in each of your meetings. Page 7, we've got our compliance statements, which need to be signed by you. And then we need to do our reasonable effort form. So we are trying to get more minorities into our clubs, and we need to make sure that we are making an effort. So that's where you would fill out this form, and you're going to put whatever date it is, the location, the ethnicity or race that you are trying to target, and then whatever comments that you might have. This combined form is just like what we had over here in our financial report. So you can use the combined form, or you can use the page 3. And then we've got, again, in the combined file, we have the no bank account. So if you have any further questions about chartering or what is expected of you, or if you have some questions or need some ideas as to what to put in your plans throughout the year, please contact your 4-H Extension agent. They're happy to help. Thank you so much for watching the chartering information video, and I hope that this was helpful. Thank you and have a great day.